Hello, all. Welcome back. I believe we are live. Let me see. Give me just a minute. Hold on, Ro, because this thing is still it's still turning. So not quite sure. Hold on. I don't know what I could do. Hold on. Let me double check. Hold on, y'all. I'm super sorry, but hey, y'all, I believe we are live now, so we are good to go. That is awesome. Hey, cousin. So, my best assumption would be we must be live because Hilda's saying, hey, y'all. Unless she prematurely saying it. Either way, I see it now. We are. Sorry, guys. It wasn't up before. So, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. It's not for a lot of people, though. I happen to be off. So, it is. I know some people is really angry about this long weekend and then having to go back to work because I don't really see nobody out for Taco Tuesday. It looks like a ghost town outside. But welcome back. I am Madam, and then we will have the co-host for tonight introduce herself, and then we will get started. It's going to be part two to last week's topic about transgender.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roshonda, aka Rose. How are you guys doing on this Taco Tuesday?
I'm eating chicken wings because if you follow me on social media, I asked somebody to buy the Wingstop around the corner from me because I want a Wingstop today. So cheers to chicken wings. So let's get started. Let me tell you what happened. Ready? So one of my stores pulled me to the side because she saw the show, and it goes into the topic or the part of the topic we're going to discuss this week, right? So she was like, I watched the show, I have questions, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, why didn't you put the questions in the comments? So it's people that have questions, honest questions, things to say and stuff like that. And they just won't because I guess they don't want to get the backlash. But that goes into this week's portion of the topic, which is, I think it's bullying. Because when you have like regular questions that are normal questions, it's almost like you get attacked. It just can't be a question. The question has to be coming from somewhere. You're trying to demean them or be derogatory. Right. And I just don't think that it is fair. And I posted a clip on my Instagram yesterday, with a particular case happening and a question was being asked. There's two things I picked up from it, which is why I was like back and forth or whatever. The question was to the trans woman, and the person asking the question was saying, you mentioned you were transgender earlier. Do you have your bottom part? For me, the fact that you brought it up means that that person offered that information earlier. So what was it offered for that that it would have even been a part of the question? So we had some back and forth feedback because it was only a clip. So I don't know where it came from. And I did try to find it, but it was only a clip. But I wanted us to hear that clip because the comparison was, well, you wouldn't ask a woman that or a man that, but we wouldn't because we know the answer, right? So to me, in creating the different categories, the different preferences, sexual preferences, like if you call transgender, gay, lesbian, all of these things, why didn't you create one that gives the answer to that question? Then the question don't have to be asked, and then it will also protect you because that's tied into a lot of the hate crimes and different things that happen. So that was my position on it. Is that a valid question to ask?
The clip, when I watched the clip, to me, that's why I said I wanted to see the whole thing, because me looking at it, I would wonder, well, why did they ask that question? It had to have been a reason for them to ask that. So that's why I was like, now on social media, they'll just put a little piece and you don't know what happened before.
So people will go crazy.
People just be going off. And then when you watch the whole thing, you'd be like, oh, okay, now I see why. That's why I was just like, well, I want to see why they asked it.
Right.
That question. So that's why I was like, it had to be a reason. It had to be a reason.
But did you question when the person that was asking the question said, you brought this up? That's
why I said I wanted to see the whole thing. That's why I said I need to see the whole thing, because it had to be a reason why they asked that question.
But that's my question. Do you need a reason?
Depending on what the topic is, I think.
I agree.
I don't think that every transgender, I would just ask them, like, out of the blue, do you still have your penis or whatever is it going on? It would have to be a reason for me to ask. So I honestly think it was a reason that man asked the transgender woman.
On that big platform like that.
Right.
Yeah. So in dating, if you walk up to me in a club, I have every right to ask you right then and there before I even give you my number. But in a setting like that, that's a hard, right?
That's a hard one right there, because actually, I had a transgender female friend that got killed, Damon.
Yes.
Dominique. Let me say the name right now, Dominique. And I remember when we used to go out, and he was already transgender woman at that time, and men would come up to him. And I remember one time one of our classmates came up to him. We was at Taco Tuesday and was like really trying to talk to her, but it was like, you look so familiar. And I'm looking like, are you gonna tell him like who you is? And he was like, bitch, now why? And I'm like, okay. So I will always ask him, like, when do you tell them that you're really still a guy, even though you're still a transgender woman, you still a guy, you still have your parts. He was planning on getting his surgery, but he didn't never get to get it. So he was like, I mean, I'll tell them later. But I was like, I think that's unfair. Like, you should at least, he was like, so what I'm supposed to do? Tell them when they first come up to me? And then I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Are you supposed to tell them right when you walk up? I think once they start letting you know that they like you, that you should. But I don't know. That question right there is a real big question in my mind. Like, when is the right time? But he used to always tell me, like, when am I supposed to tell them? As soon as they walk up?
Yes. Because as soon as you walk up, you know that I'm a woman. You don't wait till that's like, okay, so our biggest complaint, let me give an example, right? Our biggest complaint about men, right, is they don't tell us everything when we are talking to them. They feed us information as we fall in love, and then you in love and you feel stupid or whatever, because now you're in love with this person, having to make this decision. But if it was told to you from the beginning, you would have never thought about this or whatever. And now they tie it into, if you love me, you will do this. I would have never fallen in love with you if I knew that these were the real factors that are involved in this situation. You should tell them from the beginning. Yeah, because again, you should be proud from y'all pride, all of this other shit. You should be proud from the beginning.
Yeah, that's why I said that's a tough question for me, and I ask them that all the time. And that's I still never got
a safety tied to it for me.
Yeah, I never got in a good answer for that. Like, I've never got a clear answer on when are they supposed to say it. Because I was feeling like, I do feel like you're supposed to tell them when they walked up, but he was like, why? And then I was like, well, maybe you ain't. Like, I don't know. Now I'm confused. I don't know.
Would you want to know? Would you want to know if somebody walked up, both of you? Would you want to know if somebody walked up to you and they were not a man? Or would you want to know, because we don't sleep with men immediately, right? So would we want to know, or would we want to go on a vacation and meet their kids and do all of this stuff? Because the family ain't going to tell you. Would you want to do all that first, or would you want to know?
No, I would want to know.
I want to know. It's no different than when you want to know someone's single.
Well, I'm just saying, we don't apply it to normal, regular shit and then wonder why somebody, that's not a hate crime to me. That's
it's not. It's someone's being reactive to the fact that you took away their opportunity to choose. You didn't give them
No,
the
that's all the
information.
way. That's true.
Yeah, and
That's
this is
true.
where, and here's the thing where, and I hear a lot of this in the mental health field, and we have these discussions, but the truth is, there's a reason why you don't say something, right? Just like there's a reason why someone doesn't come forth to say, oh, I'm married, or oh, I'm in a relationship, or I'm coming out, or I'm having a baby, or I live with someone. There's a reason, because you think you're going to get your no, because you're not sure if someone's going to accept you. So when you are not very clear about this transformation, this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is
You're
something where the
manipulating the
only reason
situation.
why, yeah, and the only reason why it does separate you from the average person who might be whoever's biologically male, biologically female. The reason why it is separated, and it may seem unfair, but it's separated because your transformation gave you a different gender. It's not your natural anatomy. So therefore, when people are seeing you, they're looking at the anatomy. That's a false anatomy because it's not really real. So you are now held accountable to be very clear with people. If you didn't like that, you should have thought of that, because what did you think came with that? It comes with that territory. And I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat and say somebody doesn't know that. Bullshit. Yes, you do know that. You know that. That's why we're talking about all of this. Yes, you do. You know that when we're talking about dating or trying to get to know someone, when you walk up, you don't have to question if I'm a man or not. And if you do, you'll question me.
And I'll
I've seen
answer.
plenty of men and women be questioned because of the way they look, the way they sound.
And they're so pretty now. I
Yeah,
wouldn't even
I
be
always say
offended
the
these
one-
days. Honestly, I wouldn't be offended these days.
Yeah, I always say if I see a female that's like beautiful, flawless, that's a man.
I'm just saying, because they do, you know,
They
they look,
flawless.
they take
literally-
all the time, all the tape, all the lashes. They don't miss a fucking lick.
They are flawless. Like,
They are.
no flaws on
They
them.
gorgeous.
And I'll be like, that's a man. And 9 times
Most
out
of
of
the
10,
time they are. But Ro,
Yep.
think about your particular situation, right? We
Mhm.
all grew up together. You knew the person that was walking up to Dominique. I'm sorry, I knew the person is something different. To Dominique. What if you was one of those people that's messy as hell and you decide to go and attack the person that walked up to them and twist the story your way? Because people lie every damn day. And now that narrative is out there. Is that fair to that other person? They just got worked into a bunch of stuff. That's not safe for you if you messy like that. And it damn sure wouldn't be safe for the person that stood there while the person was saying, I know you from somewhere. That's when the lie started.
I was just like,
that particular
oh my
situation
God,
for
girl,
sure.
I was ready to walk away.
Because it's a lie, bro. And we don't lie like that. It would be different. I mean, you still would have questioned if they hadn't said, I think I know you from somewhere, simply because they did. But once you said it out of your mouth, dang, I think I know this person, all bets is off. Everything after that is a lie. Because they're asking you. That's a question. And you didn't answer.
And that's what I said. I was like, out of anybody where we went places, I was like, you could have told him, because he's telling you like, dang, you look familiar. Like, I know you from somewhere. You could have been like, oh, it's me. Woo, woo, woo.
Period.
Like, you know, I was just like, oh Lord, let me go get another drink.
And be sensitive how you do it too. I think that,
let me go get a drink,
girl, because I would have been so uncomfortable. But I do understand that. Okay, so first, you don't have the right to choose this fake reality it's just not real. You want everything your way. You want everybody to conform how you feel. But to me, some of these shows we watch, they know that they manipulating the situation and they laugh about it and they kiki about it. And then externally is, how could this happen to me? Damsel in distress. That's not how you was acting when you did that. You knew that wasn't okay, especially now. It's too much social media, TV, it's talked about more, things like that. You want to be safe. Well, do you really? Because you can't bite people and then tell them how to bite back.
Yeah, that's just like the one Sydney Starr. I didn't even know until last week when
She
she put on her.
cold.
I did not know. Did you
Me
see how young she went into transitioning? She was like 13 or 14. And if you would have seen her pictures then when she put them up, if I would have seen her in real life, I would have never thought she was a boy. Ever.
No.
Now she looks like a transgender to me because she
Yeah.
did all that stuff to her. But when
Yeah.
she was 13 and 14, she had a real hair. She looked
Yeah.
like a for real girl. I was just like, dang, if she said back then she would never tell people that she was really a boy. So that would be my thing.
That's the one. Wait, that's the one that was on Love and Hip Hop, right?
I don't know because I stopped watching it, but she probably was on
rap.
something.
Did she do rap? She's in music.
Yeah,
It is the one. I just saw an interview she recently did, and her behavior, it was. It's gonna get her. It's gonna get her hurt because she still
got hurt the first time. The reason how she really came out when she was young, she was younger. That's why Chingy got out the music business because she told everybody that she was in a relationship with him and she really wasn't. And so everybody started, harassing him and bullying him, and that's why he left the music industry. He was saying like he basically wanted to.
She said she still do stuff like that. She was bragging about it.
And then she played a victim though when people be on her head.
Yeah,
and she like, that was yeah, she was like, that was years ago. I don't know why y'all bring that Chingy thing up. Like I apologize.
She said she still do it. She said she literally. I'm gonna send the interview, y'all. I would never play it on our show.
Everybody should know her now. If I seen her, I would know exactly who she is. So
I didn't know how she still did it. But she literally showed how to do it. Oh, I just say I'm on my period. Oh, I bend over like this.
Yeah,
and it was real raw. I wouldn't put it on here because I don't agree with nothing that it was just not okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do because Dominique used to tell me that. I was like, how do you not? Because he would tell me he wouldn't tell them for a long time. And I was like, well, how do you guys have sex and they don't know? I'm just thinking from a girl's mind, like, how do you not know? Like, they're not gonna want to do nothing,
But so Sydney Starr, when I send you her, she was saying like she knew how to position herself, so they thought that they was literally in the. Yes, she literally. I'm telling you, that's why I couldn't play it here.
And that's the same thing that he told me too.
Oh, okay.
And he was like that. He bends over, and then I was like, so basically, y'all doing it doggy style, and they
all the time.
So they think that they putting it in your vagina, or they putting it in.
I thought they thought they were putting it in the other one, but no, they think that they're in the, and then they.
I just don't understand that. Like, men don't like to touch and feel and look. Like
she said when they try this shit, like she got a whole thing down. Like it's like we would think that, right? After seeing this video, I was just like, what? So
I'm telling you, my mind is so crazy. I'm crazy. So when he used to say that, I used to literally be like, I literally want to see. Like I have to see it with my own eyes to understand.
Listen to her explaining, honey.
I don't get it. So that's what I'm saying. It's not fair to me that they do that. But then, like we said, then they play
the victim.
Listen to the trickery. Listen to the craft of how you're gonna blind somebody over here by maneuvering this way, acting this way, get people, and I've heard of getting people super drunk or giving head, and so now you're giving the appearance like, like, oh, I'm just better than these other women because I'll do this because I know most won't do this. That's a manipulation. That's the reason why people are getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like you said, let's be real. It's not about a hate crime, because a hate crime is about someone knowing from the very beginning that they're going to target you.
Right.
Because your appearance, they don't like.
They don't know you nothing.
They don't know you nothing. When you have these random shootings, these random bombs, those were hate crimes because they purposely went to this area and they didn't care who was present. It was just, you match my description of what I hate. So we got to be clear. That's what happens in society. We use the same words for everything. And nobody holds no one accountable. To the definition. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is wrong. You're wrong. You need to tell somebody who you are because your outside appearance, I go back to that. You're given the illusion that you are something that you're not.
But
When
since
you
more than that, with the no boundaries and how it impacts women, I know you're not really on social media, but like how we was telling you last week that some of them will say things like, I'll take your man, I'm better than you. She's one of them, right? So to see this interview, it really made me angry because I was like, all of these things that you're saying you're doing as a woman, no, we don't do them as women because we don't have to degrade ourselves like that. That's not some shit you would normally do. Like, it's not. You're doing it to it's witchcraft. It's not real. Like, that's not even making love. How are you making love? And the whole time you got a whole setup of how you do things. You know what? You're keeping something away from somebody while you're giving them your body, but you're not really giving them your body because you get what I'm saying. That's not real.
Send it
And
to
then
me,
you
Asa.
want us to do that shit.
I want to hear her. Send that to me.
I'm sending it. So when you see it, you will understand why it bothers me so much and a lot of women, because now this man is coming to us thinking that that's a woman, and then you calling us a prude, this and that for the things that we do. But I don't have to think out of the box and how to use my fucking earlobes, my armpit. I don't need to do all of these things because I have what I need. But you doing all of this other stuff to pull the direction away from that. Now you're exotic and you're this and you're creative. You're doing witchcraft. That's not real. It's messing up reality.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like but they get I just try to, with me, I'm open-minded, so I ask a lot of questions, but like I said, I don't really get clear answers. I'm gonna ask you all the questions that I really don't understand because I try to think, like, I want to understand how you're thinking in your mind, because in my mind, I can't fathom how you're thinking. So explain to me why you do the things you do. Let it make sense to understand. Yeah, like make it make sense to me, because a lot of that stuff I don't understand. So since it's coming out so much more and they putting it in our face, okay, explain to Rashonda what this means, because
they're not addressing the lies, Ro. They putting it out more, but they still putting out the sugar part. But what about the shit? Because you created more shit. You still not being honest. As long as you're not being honest, I can't fuck with it. You wanted to
do I do feel like they need to be more honest, like you said. But like, I wish we could have had a transgender on here today, because I don't know any transgenders either. Like that are
free.
This is where also too, and I've had a pleasure of, and I'm not gonna say names, but working with an amazing psychologist in the field, she's just a lesbian, but she's a psychologist, and she would go around and she would do trainings at foster agencies in regards to just basically helping families who are raising children who are from the LGBT plus community. So whether they're, bi, trans, or whatever. But one thing she was very clear on is that when she spoke with the youth, when she said, listen, how we identify what our sexual preference is not who we are. She was like, and you have mental health issues, emotional disturbance when you hone in and that's all you're focused on. And she said, without this, she said, it's no different than when someone's overly doing it with their race or religion, and it's starting to be thumped and screwed into someone, and now it becomes the platform of where you're like, everything else is wrong, and it turns so victimish. She said it doesn't make sense. And she said, and I remember she would draw a circle and she would say, write all the things that who you represent. And she said, of course, it may not be equal, but all of this makes up you. You need to be focused on all of that and the highlights of that. And she said, that's
what I had to do in therapy
up here. Yeah. And she said, that's how you know you're intact up here. And she said, so the truth is, every time they add on to that plus, she said, it's mixed signals. And she said, this is my community. And she said, and I'm telling you, because I'm intact. My community, like any other community, right, that we identify with, and a lot of us are in multiple communities. She was like, on one hand, we can be making sense, but there's a whole lot of bullshit connected to. And she said, and that bullshit sometimes, with all the social media, it's out there and it gives the wrong perception, because there are plenty of people in the LGBT plus who they do not like some of this representation. They are not associated with it.
Right.
It makes them angry, because you know what? A true transgender who's confident in who they are, and they're saying like, no, this is my community, and they're doing it in a way that is pride. That's why pride was created, is to say, I'm pride. I take pride, right? In a positive way, not in the demeaning way of where I'm better than and you're less than. They would not be sitting up here putting down women. They would not sit up here and say it's okay to do the trickery. Matter of fact, they have no problem saying, hey, no, I don't have this part, or yes, I'm trans, from the very beginning, because they know who they are. When you're comfortable, you can't say I'm from this community and I got all this pride, but then you're over here hiding. And again, it's not just with that community. It's no different than somebody
a lot of them
tries not to be black, right? Like, you know, you're light and you're passing for white. It's the same thing.
My concern for that community. So I grew up, there are several people in my family that are gay, so it's normal to me. So I grew up with it being normal, because you love your family and they are who they are. And it's never been something that even the elders that were very much so into church, I don't have any holier than thou people that are so much into church that they have to point out that you're gay all the time, or you can't come around with your person. They're more concerned with following the Bible, and Asia shit ain't gonna sleep in my house with no man that she not married to, the same way you're not gonna do what's not allowed, right? So it's across the board. So that's why I feel comfortable talking about this topic. My thing is what sis just said, and I call her, she's my sis, so that's what I'm saying, sis, not CIS. I'm like you. I want you to be comfortable. If this is truly who you are, you should be comfortable, because you're not being comfortable is causing a domino effect to other people. And most importantly, 100% is the unsafe part. It's too unsafe. How did Target just release these clothes, but we grew up watching, right, I Love Lucy, and they was in 2 separate beds. Where did we get to this part where so much needs to be shoved down your throat? If you want your kids to dress like that, that's fine. But I don't think that it's okay. Sexuality, period, should not be pushed down a kid's throat. No. Your sexuality in an appropriate setting should be comfortably discussed.
I was against Target for that too. I honestly feel like they was wrong. I was surprised in Target, but Target does try to do everything. Like, if it's Black History Month, they're gonna put that out. If it's something going on,
but they're gonna try different. It's not attached to sexuality, and the fact that it's so controversial, I don't think they should have touched that topic.
They try to be on a bandwagon with everything. So whatever is popular,
get you in trouble. Do that. You agree? That will get you in trouble. You better land on a decision.
You see how much their stocks went down after that. When I seen it,
happy y'all so much, Jesus.
Yeah, because you know why?
You gotta stand for something.
The fine print. They didn't read what else was going to come behind that statement. You gotta be careful. There's always agendas.
And people from the community, to be clear, are not comfortable with 2P's point. I love that you said that. I love that you have that experience. We all have it from a personal level, but you also have it from professional level. Be who you are, be comfortable who you are. There is an underlying to everything. You cannot just do what you want to do. You can't. And own your agendas as well. Okay, go ahead. I wanted to make sure there was no more comments.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, I just recently, I'm talking to some colleagues, a lot of youth, adolescents in middle school coming in, and they want to discuss orientation, sexual orientation, and the nouns of how they said they're confused. So I've been present with a few, some interns kind of supervising and stuff like that, and just kind of peeping around, having discussions, doing supervision. And it blows my mind because when it came down to these therapists trying to figure out, okay, what's up, kids? You know, they're trying to get to them. The kids are like, huh? What? Huh? Haven't had no kiss. They don't even know if they like anybody. They shine away from the question. But their paperwork that they completed, themselves, says, I'm confused about this. This is what I want to talk about. Yet one is being presented. So, one.
Wait. What age did you say again? Repeat. When we barely got sex ed with the little stick. Okay.
So I'm about to bring it in. Let me tell you what I found out. We did some exploring. Middle school now is having that part of the sex education. That's where it came from. So once we realized that, and the kids said that, we were like, you know how that was. When every fifth grader, every fifth and sixth grade girl came home and they're like, I'm about to start my period tomorrow. Because they talked about it so much.
I'm gonna die.
You got all the symptoms for like the next 2 years, but you didn't get nothing until like years.
Oh.
So
did they warn the parents first?
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't think it was. I think it was just.
Hey, by the way,
LGBT plus like that.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Education.
Maybe they should have had a class with the parents first and then did that with the students. So when the kids got home, they could be prepared for the questions that may come from this.
So the parents thinking that the kids are maybe trying to figure out their sexuality, and in reality, no, what they're confused about is, what are you talking about? Period. And all they know is this is their generation that says we include everybody. So what does that mean?
We always did.
Or doing this or that. So now they confused with all the non-binary, pan, this and that. One told me, well, I'm non-binary. I said, well, how are you going to be non-binary if you just told me that you was pan? And I was like, because
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes.
That's my hand. Because I'm trying to remember, refresh my memory. Serious question, right? When we did the sex ed class, I think it was in 8th grade, whatever grade it was in junior high. When we did the sex ed class, wasn't that more so that we learned that, like, they split us up, the boys went in one, the girls went in one, and it was more so they could tell us about our body, not the outside, but the anatomy. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
It wasn't the sexual part. Okay, that's what okay. So it is out of line. Okay, so I have an opinion. It's inappropriate. Okay, just wanted to make sure I remembered.
Yes, the anatomy starts between, I believe it's introduced in 5th grade. So that's where it's going to talk about your, they talk about what's developing, what's forming, and what's going to happen as you transition into middle school, right?
Okay.
And you got middle school, then it went a little bit deeper. And even with some middle schools, they did not bring up anything in regards to condoms. They wait till the high school one. And then freshman year is when they start presenting, like birth control and condoms and all your things. So that topic never came up until high school. But now
I do think that they should do it. They should do it earlier now, because girls are starting their periods in 5th grade and stuff now.
So she said they moved it down. So I agree with the moving that part down. I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna let her, so then you could. I was asking, so she was talking about the junior highs and them having to answer questions about sexual orientation. But my question was, when we was in junior high, wasn't our sex ed really about ours, like what was happening with us, not man, woman, this, that. So it did not touch that. Mm-hmm. She said that it includes it now, and then she went, Piera went into the different, that's when you came back. She moved to the different stages of the different things that they do now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it should be younger now, because girls, we wasn't getting,
I agree with that,
in elementary when we was in school. So now they do. It's like, Jesus.
I agree with anatomy. I'm never going to agree with sexual orientation. That's not your place. That is the parents' place. Or if you want to have it there, like I think we talked about before, where a therapist is on site, like the one that you all have one around Pierre, but then kind of like your guidance counselor, if that is what you want to do, then you can go speak to them. If you want to make it so that nobody can know or whatever, create something around that. But I don't think that should be everybody. I think it should be there for who is permitted for.
And that
Because let me talk to my own kids about it.
Used to be high school, and now they're moving it down to middle school. The problem is, or what is problematic, and like I say, it is, but it can be, is because you still have you have. I always tell people like 6th grade is elementary, 8th grade is getting ready to go to high school, and the 7th is still teetering between the two. So you're still going to have a nice even split of kids who are kids still, and they don't get it.
Right.
So what we found with some of these kids' role was that they only was confused because they didn't understand what stuff meant. They didn't know why. It made them uncomfortable that additional things got added into this conversation. Crazy. So instead of talking about the anatomy, now we're moving on to what our preferences are and how we identify. And that became double, quadruple confusing to them. And so I had one who literally, I had one who literally, I was asking her, she was asking me a question, and I said, okay, well, explain to me what you know. I'm always curious. I want to know what their comprehension is.
Yeah, that's good. Because can you imagine giving out all the information because you think this, like they went in thinking, oh my God, they think this, and only to find out, no, I just needed the definition of that word. That's it. I just didn't know what you was talking about. And you done called a whole town meeting, put this whole thing together, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Sometimes we fast forward them and they're not that deep. They're actually way surface and shoot. Yeah. I'm telling you, one of the kids, they just wanted to know. And I said, well, what does it mean to you? You tell me. Do you even know what pan and non-binary is? And she said, yeah. And she said, I'm just a freak. She's a pansexual. She just said, listen, all I know is I'm a female. All I know is whoever rolls along that is treating me kind, I guess I just like them. Mind you, not like them. She's still talking on the friendship
side, right?
Yes. And I said, oh, okay. And then she said, yeah. And then she goes, well, where I get confused is, am I non-binary now? And I was like,
right. And that's what we mean by pause right there.
That's what I mean.
That's what we mean by you introduce this to them, because let them that's a big part of that community. Let them be who they're going to be. Well, if that's the case, then stop telling them who to be. You're confusing them. Let them be kids as long as they're kids. One day you will catch them saying, I'm so in love with this boy or girl, whatever it is. Wait for them. Don't come to them. Because according to my 4-year-old goddaughter, she's marrying her mom because she loves her so much. I'm just saying, you have your baby, your kid brain. That's what they think. The people I love, you want to know why? Because they're not in love yet. Let them get to that. Let them stay pure as long as they can. Sexual, right.
Added to this. It is so innocent and pure that it is ridiculous. And I told that
it's
kid,
beautiful.
Sweetie, I said, if you are a pansexual, then that's what if you really understand it, you'll remain that. If someone else identifies separately, they're non-binary. They couldn't even connect. They thought like, if you change this, and that means I change it. And I was like, oh, honey, we all be changing all day.
And that's what they do.
And they were done. Yeah, the conversation was over. They went on to talk about the stress of taking some tests and something.
And that goes back to Rose saying being confused. You want to know why? Because your thing, but I think you missed that, Rose. The therapist said that. The more that rolls out, what did you say the therapist said? Say it your way, P. When the therapist visited the homes and saying the more letters added.
Yeah, the more letters added just means that, now you're starting to have more chaos and confusion because not everybody is on that same level. Some of it is emotional, they're in turmoil, right? Meaning like emotional disturbance. So when you're not sure about yourself and you're going through it and there's a lot of backlash because you're not able to come out in the community and all these different things, then now your motive and your agenda changes to why you want your rights. Your rights have really nothing to do with what's being like, they have nothing to do with rights. It has to do with your own private, I'm not comfortable. So like you said earlier, Asia, right? I want everybody else to bend to me. You're like, that's not fair. We cannot, and then you're using a platform of a community though to say, support me. And so this psychologist was like, no. She's like, and then she said, and anybody with mature in a right state of mind, no matter what community you're from, you're gonna step back when you see these agendas shift because people are having personal, individual, emotional disturbances. They feel some sort of way, and now they want to make it a mass thing. Why? Because they know with social media, for every 10 people that say no, you can find 20 more that say yes. That is very strategic and it's manipulative. And if anything, it just highlights emotional disturbance. You got problems. Period.
You know where else that's on the rise? So just to be fair, let's take a 10-minute, right? Because I want to be fair and I want the LGBT plus.
LGBT plus.
Okay, T plus. To receive this in that it's across the board. There's other, like P said, there's other spaces that do the same thing, right? So on the rise is why I'm here, right? The plus size community, but specifically with women in the plus size community, we fought to get to a place where we are accepted. We're in different things that are commercial, right? And everybody say, I love who I am. I love who I am. As soon as they get money, they're off to have weight loss surgery. They're off to get the body that looks like the person that they just talked about, right? Yep. That's the same thing. You just as disturbed. And I've talked about that before. The shit's not cool. Asia, I don't know if y'all know my last name. Ain't none of your damn business. But me, Asia, me. I don't want to be small. I just don't want this stomach, okay? Be comfortable who you are. If you are comfortable who you are, you don't have to shove it down anybody's throat. Right. I'm completely confident standing next to my size 12 sister, my size 2 sister, because I'm who I want to be. That's why I'm saying you have to get, but was I always that place? No. The interesting thing is I can relate so much because I was always I never wanted to be skinny. I was always that way, but it wasn't accepted socially, right? So that's where the things come in where you're like, well, damn, I just wish I was this, because you don't want to deal with those things. I'm glad that I didn't, to P's point about last week, because if I would have gotten skinny, I wouldn't be, now I'm not happy. Now I'm denying myself, but you're doing it for social reasons. It's a give and take in every single space. To everybody's point, I could be on today and 1,200 people will be over here, but it'll be 1,200 people over here. You can find anybody to agree with you. That's why it's so important for you to agree with you and have people around you that love you. You know, I'm okay with people talking about fat people around me because I'm okay with who I am and they have that right. I don't know how to help people get there. I was asked that before in the interview and I don't know. I just, maybe because I grew up like that. Like me and Ro used to be twins together and be cheerleaders together and my sisters. When I made the team, they was just as happy for me as I was for them. They never called me fat. They never treated me like that. So I was probably blessed to have such amazing people around me. So I don't know how it feels to be treated on the other side, which is why I have compassion for the other side, because I know the battle you have with yourself, right? So to have somebody you love treating you like that, I can't imagine how that feels, but you still don't have the right to manipulate, to bully, and take it out on other people. You still don't have that right, because I still don't do that.
Because you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you're using the same energy, the same behavior to fight back what was done to you. So then there is no change. And that's what makes it hard for people to take it serious or to even remain empathetic. Now, then it just turns into this big old war. Right. You know, I was thinking about that earlier today when I was thinking about the topic, and I'm like, yeah, you know how things impact women, how they impact women. Like the whole purpose of feminism was supposed to be so that we had rights too, so that we were seen too, so that we were treated fairly to our ability or to our wants and our desires. Like, we just wanted to be highlighted and included. And a lot of feminists will even go, what people have the biggest misconception about feminists. They think that feminists mean they are masculine and they can do
Right.
more better than a man. That's not
Man
what they said.
haters.
Yeah, like, no, not really. And that's why men who support feminists understand that. Like, no, they're not taking away. They just want to be included. I think I mentioned that last week with Black Lives Matter, right? Like, there's certain statements being made because you just get to a point sometimes where, you know, you're just like, look, enough is enough. Just want to be included. But you also don't go above and beyond and now start going against the very thing that you're sticking up for.
Right.
And I think sometimes with this topic, with this whole pregnancy thing, I know when we first showed that clip last week, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because I do get it. I'm coming from a mental health side where I'm listening to someone say, this is very difficult. I got off my medication. I had to go back. Mentally, I'm thinking, wait, I just got done being a woman. I wanted to be a man. Now I got to go back to be a woman to carry this baby for my wife. I could see where you're going to be real confused up in here because you didn't think that far, clearly. But when you now bring in, and now it's everyone else's fault and everyone else is misrepresenting you, and only your community is, or this section of your community is having difficulty, that is not true. Because we can sit here and talk about the health disparities among Black women receiving prenatal treatment all day and night. And I can tell you firsthand of research.
I can tell you firsthand.
You know what I'm saying? So we've had a lot of Black celebrity women for the last couple of years who have been talking about
Serena just almost died. Was it Serena that just had the baby? She just thought the same thing happened to her. And we used to think, remember, we used to think it's because, oh, it's the one that's not married. Or, you know, and then for her to say it, and I was like, and her husband is of another race. Oh, shit, we're screwed. Like, I like thought I was in the clear, like, okay, now I'm married. Like, you know, because we looked for safe havens. So not that being married makes me better. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't twist my words. What I'm saying is certain coverings that we think we get under will save us. Like, oh, if you go to college, it'll save you from them treating you like this. No safe haven that we have looked to has been real. It's been uncovered. So to see her go through that scared me. Like, I called Gina with a whole plan. I'm not even lying. Like, Gina, when I get pregnant, I need you to be there. I need you to be at the doctor's with me, because that really for real scared me. Like, I won't know the right questions to ask. I won't know what to do. And what if they're not listening to me? You know, maybe if she's here and she's saying the real medical terms and things like that, they'll listen.
It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter with Serena. She's a millionaire and they didn't care.
That's why it scared me so bad, bro. Like,
yeah,
they wasn't listening to her. And look at what happened with me with my back, with them not listening. Now look what happened. It's real. So stop telling us that what's happening is not real and that what you're going through is more. Because even in that situation, Pete, what I was explaining last week is if Asia can't have a baby, Asia has to pay for in vitro. It's $20,000. Asia doesn't get to go back and forth. You chose to use your life. You went back and forth for what was beneficial for you. And I'm not mad at it. What I'm mad at is that instead of saying, oh my God, I'm so grateful I didn't have to pay that, or I'm so grateful that my body, the testosterone didn't mess me up. I stopped taking it. I got my period. I had a baby. Oh my God, I'm so happy. You're never fucking happy. How? You should
they pay for everything. I can't remember the clip I sent you, and it was a transgender woman on there said, "Oh, my insurance just paid $300,000.
It paid for it now."
Yeah,
that's what I was telling you. I left the business.
Yeah, they paid something. It was $300,000. Maybe it was the sex change, but they won't even pay for us to get a damn.
It's no in vitro. It's no. It's nothing for women. That's why I'm telling you guys. I know exactly what each line of your benefits look like. When I saw that come across my desk, it just broke my heart. I left crying that day, like, but a woman can't get a breast pump. Like, literally, do you understand what that felt like?
We can't get a breast pump. We can't get a tummy tuck. Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
But y'all,
You can have
y'all
scar
can't even go
tissue
to
and
the dentist
everything. They'll go
get
take
you
it
the
out and
same
still
color
mess you up.
tooth after a
Yeah.
root canal.
I'm just
Exactly.
saying. Just
But
think.
they'll
So
pay for them a
celebrate it
whole
instead of being
7 years.
sad. Help us
They'll
while
pay-
you helping yourself. If you got that for you, why didn't you just do all of the pregnancy stuff? Why was it only for you? Why did you create a womb for it to go in a man, but you still haven't figured out how to fix my womb? You know, why didn't you include everybody, but you want us to include you? That's not fair. And that womanhood and bearing a child is a big thing, especially in those countries where if you don't have a baby like that, it's a danger to you, right? So if you're thinking it's my only job is to have a baby and I can't have one and the world don't care about me either. But you walk in to find out what's wrong with you and you're looking at a man with what we get all the abuse and nobody thinks about just that little thing is not so little when you're not a mom. That's not so little.
I'll go as far, and this is a little sideways, but it's still relevant to even say when other women trying to get pregnant or just miscarry are watching women abort. You know what I mean? That is very difficult.
It's very difficult
because they're looking like
you doing it like it just don't matter to you, huh? And here I am,
birth control. They're using it as a form of birth control.
That's
a difficult combo. So
it is
within the gender of being a woman, if that's the conversation, right? That's the argument. We even said it last week with this whole new thing. They just wanted to pass this whole thing, no abortion. They just wanted to. Like that's what's fresh, you guys.
Well, they did it. See, they did in some states. You will go to jail and everything. So some companies have even gone public with saying, if you work for my company in this state, but it's covered in another state, they will fly you to another state. Some companies did that because they just really they don't agree with it. But you will go to jail. And I believe Texas is one.
Texas is off the chain, just all around.
I think Texas was one, but yes, it passed in Texas. It passed in Texas. That is right. It was Texas.
And Georgia.
I believe so.
Yes, there's a lot of not maybe new, but it's being surfaced more.
Yeah.
A lot of laws, which is funny because people don't know them. They don't know until they get in their trouble and they looking all crazy. But, you know, I've noticed that in the mental health field, I'm starting to learn about all these different laws because they're trying to do these pacts that are across the states and the South, where if you're licensed in one area, you don't have to get licensed and switch over the board. You're good for a certain number. But of course, California, we always on the outskirts because California is just difficult.
Right.
But I thought that was really nice. And the reason why they're doing it is because mental health is growing and they don't have the bodies, they don't have enough therapists. So they're trying to say, like, if you got people over here and they're willing to do virtual, let them get the help. Somebody made the comment earlier about the, psychoeducation. It is definitely huge. We, like to be informed. I swear by dictionaries of thesauruses. I think why everybody can Google and dictate, what they need to be doing is having a damn dictionary and thesaurus connected on your dang phone. So you can, before you start talking, you can remind yourself, oh yeah, what does that mean again? Because people just don't have the comprehension and then we just roll with the trend. Right. And I hate to say it's a trend, but it is.
But it is.
Guess what? When it doesn't exist in a few years,
it just disappears.
The next topic, huh?
It's just disappeared.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people get tired. And then, like you say, you want all of this, recognition and stuff like that. But I don't know. This whole thing it's really sad. Not against anything. I always say this wherever I speak. I'm not against whatever your lifestyle is your lifestyle.
It's your business.
However, facts are facts, and we're talking about how individual decisions impact us as a mass and in different cultures and communities. And when you're talking about a transgender who is, I don't think if the interview maybe was just about a personal journey and it didn't give off an attack to women. I even think that would have changed the narrative.
It would.
You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes where people are able to pull off the victim and people connect with that is oh, it's like you said, the hate crime, or oh, you're being mean to me, I was just sharing my story. And it's like, no, you weren't sharing your story. You made a little comment.
Thank you.
You're the only one. Be careful
Thank
with that.
you.
You know what I mean? Because you're not. You're not. And even I saw the comment about, like, it's not about the money, it's about the color. Yes and no with that as well. When you are of color, sometimes that's what you're going to be hypersensitive to, because you're not a color. So you can, respectfully, it's kind of jaded, right? Not saying it's not facts, but it's going to be jaded because you're a woman of color or you're a person of color. But
well, no, it's these laws, when they create them similar to certain laws, like the weed law. Who smokes the most weed? Because we can't afford cocaine.
I just meant on the medical part.
Well, that's in medical too, because some of these laws, each place can pick up what laws they want, right? So a great example would be, and this ties back to one of the things you just said, the therapist will be able to work in multiple states. I think that's great, because it was just brought to my attention by Kinu that their mental health in Atlanta is almost non-existent. They don't really have it. And for me to find that out and then think about this topic and you saying what you just said, that would be great for them to know, because think about it. The video we played was from Atlanta. You are creating these laws that put these people in this box, but a lot of people in Atlanta are this, right? And then you don't put mental health there for them. And then you wonder why people are saying their husband is this, their wife is this. That seems like a little bit, that's a lot. That's a lot. But you put it where? In Atlanta. Where is it? Because it's not a Georgia thing. It's by zip code. Did you notice that? It's by zip code.
They did say a lot of stuff is by zip code out there.
Yeah,
I did
in
see
Atlanta.
that.
So
and see, that's different because out here it's different.
We not like that. Yeah, but you know what? We do have Northern California and then Southern California, but I never knew it could be zip code based like that. And in that particular one, I'm glad I was able to watch the whole thing to see, and it popped up with zip codes to say who was doing it. But how do you do that? That doesn't make sense. In the place where the mental health is needed, you took it out. Then you also didn't pass the laws. And then why did you do that?
It's a conservative state.
But you only did these zip codes, not the whole state.
But conservative states have a different. Remember what I was saying earlier about like how when you go with an agenda, but you don't know everything that's connected.
Oh, yeah.
I see people standing outside of the grocery stores and they're like, "Oh, sign this petition." And on the front, the petition looks real good, but you didn't read the rest of everything that follows with it. That's probably fuck shit, right?
Right. That's why I'm signing.
Right. So what people don't know is that it's like being a lawyer where everybody's in the same building and they all go to lunch together, and you thinking everybody opposite of each other don't like each other, but it's not. It's a whole political thing. Politics are the same way with Democrats and Republicans. Whoever's going to win first, someone else on the other side is still getting their way in the small print.
Yeah.
So if this rule is, if this new, whatever this is, this what we're going to sign for, or this law we want, if it's for Democrats, there's going to be a bunch of Republican things connected to it. That's why they're giving it to you.
You're still getting something.
And then reverse. And so in that type of a state, I'm wondering if that's what's attached to it.
I wonder
that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, because it's a conservative state. So it's conservative, which means your overarching goal is not to step out these bounds.
Yeah.
So certain counties and zip codes, whatever weight they pull, it's like, okay, we'll let you do this, but you can't touch this over here.
Right. So that's what the lady was saying, like at the beginning, what you're saying. She legit came out with, no, we are concerned. I don't like this. I don't want this. I was like, well, at least she was honest. But to your point, we all know that when that stuff passes, the reason why they don't burn a building down is because something's in there, give and take on each side. And what we see is what they wanted us to see. If you don't read every single thing, and they don't make it in a way that we can, if you are not in that field.
And so that's what I was saying when I was talking about like medical disparities. There, the politic part is already there. I'm not going to, but I also respectfully am not going to take away from what the comment said when it comes to color and different things added on. But before that hits, there's something else on top.
You're right.
That's a little bit heavier. And
You're
then
right.
Culture, subcultures are the scapegoats or the patsies. Like, oh, this
I think those are just easily targeted places, right? Because if you don't have the know-how in those places, and here's where I put it back on the Black community. So many of us have made it out. What have you taken that you can do back to your community? So if you know that the place you grew up in, they don't know how to do this, and you're going to be placed somewhere or volunteer somewhere, does any part of you tug at your heart and say you don't need to volunteer at the place that always has cameras? Maybe you need to volunteer at the place that needs the cameras brought there so you could do better for your people? Because everything can't be about you. It's not supposed to. When we get our degrees or our careers or whatever it is, some part of you is supposed to go back to what you believe in, your community. How are you making it better? So you made it out. Great. What are you doing with it? Because you have money in a car? I don't give a damn about none of that. God don't either. He cares he gave it to you so you could give it. But it's easy to give in the places that make you look good. Do you go back to those places that truly, truly need you? I.e. the place you came from. Just because they don't know. So go help them. Why are you going to let this happen to your place? Just like me even thinking about, this is how your brain should work. You download all this information and have these useless facts, so when they become important, you will know. Me hearing my sister say about the neighboring states, I know California is not included, but I remember seeing that from what we watched about and knowing our other sister told us about mental health. Okay, well, we need to get this information down there. When she tells me that it's a go, get it down there. Let them know, because virtual, to her point, they don't have to come here. They need it. It's so many people walking the street homeless in Atlanta, and it's really bad after COVID because they don't have mental health there. Those people look like us, y'all. How you don't care? Right. And just something that small, we just don't pass information sometimes either. You don't need money to make a difference. I need people to know that. Yeah. I need people to know that.
And I'm gonna be real with you, just as an addition to include, even if you never grew up with, like, if you didn't grow up in a community that was at risk or poverty, why would you still not help your community? If you know what I'm saying? So whether you have money or you didn't, has nothing to do about helping those around you. My mom always told me, if you help people around you, it makes your world safer.
P, I could tell you from having a nonprofit that the people that have let me down the most in this space, one of them is a very well-known pastor's wife. And one of them, and they all Black, from our community. They got the most money. You want to know where they want to volunteer? They want to volunteer, give back, pour into the Girl Scouts or the places that already have all of the money, but not, let's go to Pomona High and hand out backpacks. Let's go to Gary and do this. Let's teach these girls self-defense that's about to go to college because the rate of rape is just way too high. They don't want to do that. How is that not a big deal? And you're probably a victim too. I don't understand. But they only want to do the things, P, that have the glitz and glamour already tied to them and feed their ego. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying leave some too for where it's needed. Like you said, the area around you. I'm not driving all the way to Orange County. Not that Orange County don't need help, but in proximity to me, it's not close. When, like you said, right here, I could do it right here. I don't know, but it's the ego thing. It's not big enough. But the
People
problem
don't like to get their hands dirty. They don't want to get their
That's
hands
it.
dirty. They want to get their hands wet. They don't. Some people love living in ignorant bliss because once you know better, you're expected to do better. So if you don't know nothing, I see, hear nothing. You just blindly just move about, and you can do all the fuck shit and the shenanigans. But it's sad. I mean, I'll never forget. I had an experience at one time with this church I was going to, and they were just like, "Oh, on the weekend, go out there with the homeless people and everything." And I remember, I was like, dang, I just want to go home and sleep on my weekend. I'm in school, I got the kids, I got this, I got that. And I was just like, all right. I learned so much for that year. They would make like little hygiene packs, right? You just go and hand them out. I learned how the whole system of San Bernardino actually worked, which I didn't notice. If you're homeless, there's a care team. They patrol for 6 months. If the cops see the same people for 6 months, you go on a waiting list. Step Up on Second is one of the places in San Bernardino that has all this funding to pull homeless people off. The issue is you have to be chronic, but they can't keep people to stay in there because people want to come in and they want to bring. And it's individually done because they're trying to, it's a program where they're trying to teach self-efficiency. And you can only do it one person at a time for sake of, your name and blah, 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 right? Grants and money. But I learned that, and it does exist. I learned that Orange County buses them out to San Bernardino and drops them up in busloads. And then, like I said, the care team, San Bernardino, not county, San Bernardino City, has a care team, and they go around and they take names and this and this and that, and they move them certain places. They're making sure things going on or not going on. And I'm talking about when people are abusing homeless people, or when they're taking their money. These people are receiving their money. They get their cell phones. Like, there's so many things. When I got away from it and I started doing community-based mental health, and I would have people come to me, I knew what to do and where to send people because of that experience. I could tell you, go to the Salvation Army over there by, Greyhound in San Bernardino by In-N-Out, and at this time and this time you can take showers, get food, get this, get that. Like, that's what happened. You know what I mean? That was she's so funny. Yes, it is. But that was the give back. But that's how that ended up being a whole resource.
That's how you grow. You can only grow if you get out there. That's how you have a Rolodex. And while we're talking, before we go, I'll have everybody close, but I would like to spotlight the self-care lab. It's a boxing lab. Is it still in Pomona, Rome?
It's in Montclair.
It moved to Montclair. Okay. So she's located in Montclair, but mental health is a part of her nonprofit program, and she works with youth as well. And so while we are talking about that, I will not share her story. I think we'll see if we can have her on next week so she can talk for herself, because I did not get permission to say anything other than that, but she is on. And so
she can come on. Look, I can talk because she's my cousin.
Oh, yes, you can. I can. Go ahead. You do it.
Well, it's the self-care lab. It's in Montclair, California, off of Central Avenue. And a part of the boxing theme is mental health. So she works with people. She's taking her boards to be I should have let her talk it. A psychiatrist or something. It's something in mental health. She's just waiting to take her state boards. I believe. Yeah, she's just waiting to take her state boards, but that's her whole thing is mental health, and she works with the youth and everything. But like you said,
especially at risk.
Yeah, at risk. She was in Pomona for a while, and they didn't really want to feed into her program, but they seen that all the children from the neighborhood in Pomona she was the one working with their mentle health and everything.
That totally blew my mind.
Yeah, they didn't want to get
it. She was around the corner from the police station, city hall, everything. How could you not pour into her? I just couldn't believe it.
That's what she was doing. And so she just had to go somewhere else, but they would give it to somebody else. Like, they would give it to somebody else, a boxing gym that's already big and everything like that. But they wouldn't give it to her. But that's her whole
thing. Hers is full.
Her whole thing is mental health. They just had their first marathon on Saturday. It's everything, like she's doing everything that you're supposed to do with mental health, and it's like
And
Pomona.
she has her credentials.
Yeah, and they just wasn't behind her. And like I told her, I said, even though we from Pomona and you want to do for them, if they don't see the vision that you have, then go somewhere else. Like if they
so
don't
you can
see
bring it back.
yeah, like
yeah.
At that point, I was just like, F
I
Pomona.
was done.
We all from Pomona, and I was like,
I stopped by one day and we had a conversation, and I was telling her some of the things that happened to me, which is why I positioned my business the way I positioned it. You go in with this pure heart, and thinking I'm going to be received because I'm coming back to help. And we always talk about nobody's here to help. And I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just asking you to show up. You know, you just think this in your head, right? And so then when you start your business and the people that's against you look like you or from you, like I literally had my first time I quit my business. I was told that my stuff was thrown in the trash because I was Black and it was by a Black woman. I was done. I was like, I'm using my money, my time, and you did this to me. I was so done. It just hurt me because now not only am I being hurt in corporate, but the face that looked like mine hurt me. So I had to go back to the drawing board and apply corporate knowledge. I got to get around this, but I could still bring it back. And we was talking before, and I was telling her, I think we got to move around. And you don't want to, right? You want to shoot straight through because you want it to hit you first. It's a way to do it, but when you're thinking with your heart, you can't see it because you're so crushed. But I'm glad she did what she did, and she could still, bring it back. Eventually, she'll be able to even get transportation to have the people that maybe can't make it, because sometimes that's one of our biggest barriers is that we're in the community so that people could get there. But if you move it, they can't get there, and you cannot put them in your car, different things. But I want to have her on the show. So there are mental health resources that they're just not known. And if you know of any and you hear about them, please send them so that I can share them not only through Melanin Madam, but Divine Purpose. I'll post them throughout because it's really important that there is help out there that looks like us, but we don't know how to get to it. It's not on our calling sheet. When we get our benefits and they say call these therapists, it's not on there. They're not on there. No.
I can tell you right now, whenever people call in, I'm like, we're booked, but let me tell you how to do it. And it's a nice 5-10 minute conversation. They're just like, oh wow, you're going in depth because I want you to get the help.
Because a lot of them don't. They won't. You'll call.
We're full.
And they say they're not taking patients for 6 months, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, this
no
is
kids. I offered to give my spot up for a kid during COVID because I was like, what y'all mean you don't have spots for kids? It's COVID.
Honey.
But that was
not.
They need
more.
There's a lot
that comes behind that.
Need more.
There's a lot that comes behind it. There's a reason. But also too, what changed with COVID is all private practices, group practices were mainly also cash pay. COVID changed all of that. So when COVID changed all of that and everybody couldn't, it just wasn't practical, right? Go spend my money. I mean, listen, you're not thinking to go spend my money on, at that moment, your mental health was a bill. So it was like, I'm not going to go spend $100, $200 over here.
Especially if you're going 2 times a week.
Water, we dying.
Right.
Exactly. So
it's expensive.
So what ended up happening was people are getting paneled so that they can accept insurances. It takes time. Credentialing alone is a two process. Whether if you're group, you still gotta get credentialed. That could take anywhere 3 to 4 months. And if you're by yourself, then it's 3 to 4 months credentialing, and then you have to wait for the contract to go through. So it can take 6 months before you're taking insurances. That's yes. And it's very tedious to be approved. And at that time, because mental health blew up, insurances didn't want independent people. No. They wanted group so they can hit the math all at one time.
They did.
And then certain places, they had so many people hit them so quick and fast that Aetna, some of the blues,
I have blue.
Kaiser, they're all back. Everybody paused. It was like, no more new people, no more new providers, because they were all backed up. Then you have to take into consideration all the people who got their PPP loans and their unemployment, and they wasn't coming back. So then you got all the people who ain't coming back. So now you got workers who are not there processing all these things.
I'm so grateful that Mark's insurance covered. Listen, because honey, I was in there. Excuse me, can I start coming 5 days a week now? As a matter of fact, I need to move in. Yeah, I need to move in. I was so grateful we started before COVID, because I would have been stuck like Jesus. But that is it for tonight. So next week, we are going to be talking about dating and the rules of dating and the safeties of dating in the trans community and how it impacts us women. So I may have to find, I'm gonna send both of y'all and Gina. I can see, I'm gonna let her in because my sister is always late. She loves to be late. So next week we're going to be talking about dating and the impact of women with the trans community. But what I'm going to do,
Regina, I told you you need to sit on your couch where we can see you, the good spot.
You hiding at work, Gina? Girl, Gina hiding in the dark at work, and
she don't have no sense. She looks like a damn owl. I can see two little things as her eyes, and no, it's probably her cup. But anyway,
my janky ass internet.
I'm gonna send you a box because we need you to plug it into the wall and give you better perception.
That's what I said. I'm like, you said on that couch, that was a good area.
If she's still in the same place, my phone didn't work at her house. I had to go outside around like
corner.
Yeah, you know, some of those buildings where they straight up and down, you don't get good reception in all of them. But anywho, I'm gonna send her a box, y'all. What was I gonna say? Oh, so next week's show is going to be about dating. What I'm gonna do though, because I think I couldn't decipher which parts will be good of the Sydney interview. It was some really good points to call out. Definitely danger. But I think because I had such an attitude, because y'all know I don't like liars. And then to be laughing about it, like this is somebody's life. And then to hear that she put people's names out, I cut it off at that point, because how you trick men, put their names out like they knew, and think you should be walking around safely.
Girl, bye.
That's how I feel. So I'm going to send it to y'all so y'all can see it, and then y'all can tell me what pieces you think we could utilize for next week.
Okay.
That interview was no damn joke. When she bent over on here's how bad it was. The interviewer got uncomfortable. Like if she would reach out, because she was, we talking about how they come into the space and they make you uncomfortable and do all of, she was doing that. Like, this is a man. You cannot do things like that with a man. And you doing it like it's funny, but this is this man's show. He's trying to respect you and talk, but then you steady asking him if he liked your breasts or this and that. He's not going to answer that question, because in his brain and in reality, there's a difference. He wants a womb woman. So he don't give a damn about your breasts. He's not trying to look at you like that. He's always want to look at you as a male, because you just identified you have male parts. But I'm telling you, it was a lot of things going on during this.
She never got a sex change?
I'm telling you, I don't know if it got to that part. I only watched the part where she rolled over onto
send it to me tonight, because I know I'll be up late.
I'll send it right now. Yeah, she's like, so he was asking how, the interviewer was asking how people don't know that she was a male and had the male part. Okay. Yeah. And so she was like, what? You just do it like this? And she bent over and she was like, oh, I would just say I'm on my period. Or I would just say, oh, no, don't do this. Or, oh, I would just say, oh, I'm sensitive down there, or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
She out of pocket. I'm telling you, I
would be scared for people that saw it. here's who I would be scared of, and this is what y'all need to realize. Be scared of the person in the corner that's not saying nothing. Because I would be scared doing that interview, knowing that if somebody saw her today, even if nobody else knows, that person now knows that they was with you and you was a man. What if that nerd in the corner is the one that comes back and not only want their money back from you, but you just did something to them?
Yes.
What if they come for you?
Yes.
You're not a victim because you thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's
You're not
so
a victim.
you.
Sorry. If you're lying to men and deceiving them, there's no way you're a victim. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm about to send it to y'all. I want y'all to watch it. It's like, watch it. You're going to be like, are you really bragging like that? Are you really like poking your chest out like that? That's not cool.
No, it ain't. You can't rob people of their choices, man. Because I really can't fuck somebody's head up, for real. It really can. And now you didn't rob this person of their choice. You didn't mess with their mental.
And yeah, like I said, that's why Chingy went off the scene. He said that he couldn't even do it no more. She ruined his whole career.
And he was up.
He was in his prime.
Wow.
And she ruined his whole career.
Now, who
did she say why she did that to him?
Sydney Starr.
She still has the piece. I thought so, Hilda. The interview was really recent. So she's still talking like that. The
so
interview
that's what I'm saying.
recent.
I don't watch her like that to know. I just knew that she had
popped up.
Yeah.
I don't know why it popped up.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm telling y'all, it's the nerve. It's the nerve and the how can you get to talk that freely, but if I use the wrong term, but I'm talking totally, I'm a good person, I'm in a good space. You know I don't mean nothing derogatory, but if you choose to want to ruin me, you could take any part of what I say and use it for you to be offended and throw all these labels on me, like P said, that you don't even know what they don't even mean what I just did, but because you just said it, automatically, homophobic, trans, like that's not fair. That's not
all
fair.
All you gotta do is call her a he, and they
right. And you're canceled.
And you're canceled.
And you're canceled. That's right. She got rid of. That's right, Hilda. She got rid of her. What it says on the screen. I'm telling you the trickery. Because I believe that's like, how do you make sure to it was something like that. Like the trickery was real, you guys. The trickery was real. Like to make sure that nothing could actually accidentally be grabbed.
How do you get rid of them?
You get them stepped out. I know somebody that got them done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say that for next week because I'm getting too cute. I've got a lot of questions.
I'm doing it right now.
I got
a lot of questions too.
You know what? We need to put on there the talk about the when we talk about the safety, one of the after effects. I always remember that guy that married who was it? The woman, it was an Asian woman, and she had all this plastic surgery done.
Oh, and Sue?
And he sued her because the baby came out. He said, he said,
Baby came out
and
ugly.
So ugly. He was like, he said,
the one when because she had got plastic surgery.
People thought that was fake. That wasn't fake.
I did see that. I seen that too, and he sued her.
What happened? I don't. What happened?
But
sorry, Gina.
Pictures before. That's what I don't understand.
What happened, Gina, is that a woman this couple got married, and the man didn't know that the woman had all this plastic surgery. That's not what she looked like. So when they had their kids, and the kids was ugly, and then he never knew what she looked like before, so he sued her.
Oh, damn!
And won.
And he won.
He won because it went deep. Like like she wasn't the same background as him. Like it got deep. But he, you know what? He brought out some very everybody thinks it's just about being ugly. It was more of like, you're literally a whole nother person.
Right.
Like he felt like I don't know who you are. I don't know you. And that just makes me think of the same thing when somebody doesn't know what your real anatomy is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
People made light of it, but I got what he was saying. They made it like, oh, it's because she's ugly. It wasn't because she was ugly. It's because I don't know you. And when you find out that the person you next to is something big you don't know, think about how we feel when you find out the ninja is cheating, right? You look at him like, who are you? So just imagine it being something like that. Like, you were never going to tell me either. I would have never found out. Your family didn't tell me. Like, it's just so much that goes into it, because you feel like how did we get all the way here and I still didn't know that?
Yeah. You don't know what the kids look like. He like, who that?
Right.
Like, who's this? That ain't me. That ain't my wife.
Like, did y'all change the babies up in the
This one isn't mine. I don't want it.
Cause this ain't my baby. Who baby?
This ain't my baby. I am not. That's not my baby. Because men are visual.
And when he describes though how he felt about her and how she looked, he was just saying like she was so stunning. Like he's like, they have.
He thought he slam dunked.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand. Do people not? You didn't meet the family. They ain't had no kid pictures or something. Like, how is that possible? Like,
right.
But Ro, I don't have no pictures. Remember, I took my first picture. I have maybe 3 pictures of me. Remember, I took my first pictures when I was 18. I didn't take no pictures.
We got pictures of you in the yearbook.
No, you don't.
Yes, we
do.
Have
one. You have one.
Well, in what yearbook?
In Palomars, you have one. And then senior pictures, I don't even think I took those.
But so at your house, your mom don't got no pictures of you?
Bro, I'm not lying. No. Gina, am I lying?
No, she don't.
Thank you. No, I was insecure. I did not like the way I did not take pictures. I always took the pictures so that I didn't have to take the picture. No, so that could happen.
Okay, see, that's where in my mind it's crazy because I'm so used to just taking pictures all my life.
Right.
I'm like,
that's why I say people don't listen to me, and the different things I say bothered me in life. They don't believe me, but they don't notice. You want to know why? I didn't make it a big deal because I'm uncomfortable. I don't want Asia, no, please do it. Gina will let you know. If I say no, I love when Gina is present because she'll be like, no, just leave her alone. Because I really mean that. I'm not wanting, people be like, they want you to fuss over them. No, please leave me alone because you're making it worse. You're making me more embarrassed. I'm actually very introvert, very shy. I am in my real life, even around people I know. So no, I don't have any pictures. I got 2 pictures. One is right there, me a baby, and the one I posted in a swimsuit a long time ago when I was little. My cousin found it. That was before I had a children.
Crazy. Okay, so I can see it because in my mind, I'm like, in 2023, even just going back,
I don't believe now though, because too many. It's too easy.
Catfish nowadays, like I don't understand it in my mind.
I don't believe it now.
How you can get catfish nowadays? Like
people got too many phones.
Yeah, now
it's too much.
Mm-hmm. Now it's very different.
Oh,
it's
very last name.
You can call me like
before we close.
You can't tell me, oh, you don't got no smartphone. Okay, you can't do none of that stuff because you got social media somewhere. You can call me on social media and video chat and everything. It's just no way to me people can catfish you. It's all these filters and stuff on people's face now, but you can still tell them call you regular.
Yeah,
you can still put filters sometimes on those, but I don't know. Can you put filters on when you video call?
Yes.
Can you? I don't know.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. It's wicked. It's wicked.
There's a lot of stuff you can do. A whole lot.
It's
and
wicked.
You know what? We're forgetting something real simple and basic.
Yes.
Remember when the conversation was, how did you hide this and do this? There's always ways to distract people. You ask them one question. How many times have you asked someone something and they found 9 different ways to go around it, and you went right with them until you sat there later like, wait a minute, this motherfucker didn't even answer my question.
I might go with you, but I'm gonna go right back. Like, but you still.
But that's because we're Aquarius, bro. and we went in, we'd be like, no, I still didn't get that question answered. But there are times that we have to double back weeks later or the next time we see them. Somebody that's good at what they do.
The person that they fuck with on that level. You have to remember that too. Not everybody's like that. So, you'll like, I used to ask this question all the time. I have, when I get male clients, I just be asking them like, let me ask you this. Why y'all woo, 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 woo? And the truth is, what I'm just going to say in general, regardless if you're a male or a female, not everybody is inquisitive. Not everybody follows through. Not everybody drums their own beat. So many people just go with the okie doke. It's easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when we're talking about dating, you're talking about people who are already wanting to be picked, wanting to be selected, or wanting to be in, or whatever it is. So now you're just trying to flow with it. I mean, if this person looks stunning to you, you amazed that they even looking at you. You're not trying to answer me damn questions. You
that part.
Roll with it. Like,
or
it's a personal thing. Now, not
or like the topic of the show. You already know if you dig too deep, they coming for your ass. So are you gonna go for them? It's grown ass men, it's tough ass people, it's people that won't do it because they already know you done. But we will end it here. I found a video. Ro, I sent it to you and Gina on Instagram. P, I'm gonna text it to you on this phone as soon as I'm done with it. And then y'all let me know if you need it via text. But I want y'all to watch it. It was the first one that came up, ironically. Wow. So I'm just saying, who wants to close this out? And Gina gonna be on time next week, y'all. She gonna be here.
Be on time for that shit.
She gonna be on time by 8 o'clock.
Look, I'm gonna call you, Gina. Look,
bro, I'm just saying, executive. I'm gonna need you to be an executive.
At 7 o'clock, I'm gonna start prepping.
I'm gonna sit in that corner over there. Yep.
I'm sick of her shit.
Gina, go to the bathroom. Gina, did you eat? Gina.
Right.
Thank you. See, teamwork make the dream work. So that is it from us tonight. Who wants to close us out?
These be tough topics. Like, I just want everybody to start being truthful in 2023.
Okay. Sounds like Gina, you close us out.
I didn't get to be in the whole conversation, so it's probably not appropriate for me to close it out because I missed most of it.
I think it would be actually funny. So yeah, you close us out and let's see if it makes sense.
Say what you gotta say, Gina.
That's your punishment for being late. Come on.
There's somebody. I don't even know what to do because I don't know what happened.
Okay, chicken shit. Okay, so that is it from us tonight. I'm with Ro, and all of us have said the same thing. Deception is not a hate crime. Okay, being honest is extremely important, and utilize your resources. Don't feel like this is exclusively only a issue in the trans community, because it's not. I shared another community as an example. It's across the board. Any space that you behave like that is not okay. Get the help that you need, which includes therapy, not your homegirls, because unless you got sisters like me. But that's by the way. Get some help. Okay? It's out there, because what's gonna start happening is I got my own business. I'm not afraid of y'all. I'll say whatever the hell I want to say. I'm going to treat you like I would treat everybody else. That's what you wanted, right? Equality. I equally don't have any sense. So there we go. So that is it from us. We will talk to you next week. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye, everybody.